So many of us men focus on the present, on the things that we can control now, hoping that our past is behind us. And we know that that's not always the case. So many times we react really big to things that are seemingly small. Today we're going to talk about 3 signs that your childhood might still be in control of your life or your relationships. And if you stay all the way to the end, I'll tell you the things that I did about that. Stay tuned. My name is Dr. Gregory Donihoo, and this is Zen for Men. Men's mental health put into action. Real, practical change. So my name is Dr. Gregory Donihoo. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in the state of Texas, and I own the Couch Psychology Center, which is a men's specialty virtual clinic in the state of Texas. So if you're looking for some added support, look us up. We'll find a clinician that fits exactly what you need. Now, as I mentioned before, today we're going to be talking about those 3 core signs that are proof and a pretty good evidence that childhood is still involved in your present life. And then as a bonus at the end, what we're going to do about it. Now, today, trauma doesn't usually take the form of this dramatic reaction. It's easy to think that trauma is the big T trauma. So many men that I've worked with, and myself included, my wife will attest to it. I said that if my trauma wasn't this huge level thing, or if my reaction wasn't big enough, I invalidated it within myself and said, well, one, I just need to focus on the present, stop complaining so much, it's not a big deal. Trauma can be subtle in how it affects our trust of others, our trust of ourselves. It skews the way we view things. And so because it's not this dramatic impact like most people think of with the word trauma, there are subtle cues that can take over. And if we're not aware of those, we find ourselves losing control of our emotions and our own autonomy in life. Our emotions end up running the show without our permission. Not to say the emotions are bad, but if we miss the cue and miss what they're trying to do, other people will misread us. And there's nothing really worse than being misunderstood as a man from personal experience. So we're going to start with number 3 and work our way down to the most impactful sign that childhood trauma is still at work in your life. So sign number 3, you are always on edge. This is a big one that is in the background because for me, this was one of my core signs. And to be honest, I thought this was just the way it was. I thought that this constant background anxiety and my thoughts running and assessing the situation was just me being alert, aware, and even conscientious of other people. I found out later it was actually a sign of something called hypervigilance. It's where we're looking for threats or warning signs in our environment. Some degree of this is healthy. It's good for us to be aware. But it's different when it hijacks our nervous system to such a degree that we either lose track of our own preferences, is a huge one, or we lose track of our own peace of mind. One of the most common things that I get that guys are hoping to get back into their lives is a sense of peace, a sense of calm. And most of the time, it's hypervigilance when we find ourselves blaming other people for taking away our peace. It is too easy for guys to feel like we have lost our sense of agency or control and that other people are taking it. That's why most of us will prematurely break up or sabotage our relationships because we feel like other people are causing our hypervigilance. But instead, hypervigilance is actually a skill. Being on edge is the skill we learned when we were younger, when often we had some sort of an unsafe or unpredictable environment. Could be mom, dad, sibling, anything in between, school, bullies. Anytime we didn't know when something was going to go wrong or we couldn't quite predict our environment. So we either find ourselves learned helplessness, going with the flow, or we find ourselves scanning any possible threat so that we can react in a moment's notice. That means that likely 99% of the time when nothing happens, we're still feeling the fight or flight response. This wreaks havoc on your gut, on your nervous system, on your aging process, on even your sense of focus. Most of the ADHD symptoms that we suffer from all the time is because we're actually in fight or flight, and our brain has taken up attention slots and put them towards threat management, whether that's our relationships or the environment in general. It is a skill set that we learned from childhood. It is not a weakness, but so much of our lives cannot be lived in that sense of fight or flight, or we'll find ourselves, a lot of people say you're not very present, you're not emotionally. That's why. It's because we're on edge, because we were trained to scan just in case we could prevent something bad happening. Sign number 2, you struggle to express emotion. Now, I'm going to talk to you about a cheat and a workaround that a lot of guys use, and I used it myself. We will use the phrase, I feel, before we say something because we know we're supposed to be talking about emotions, and we will follow it up with an opinion that is surprisingly lacking in any emotion words. If you've ever looked at an emotion wheel lately, it has that entire ring. Usually there's 3 rings of all these different emotion words, usually in these big colored categories. Sadness, anger. So many guys, we will use our thoughts as if, and our perspectives as if they're our feelings. They're not. Just because I think you don't listen to me, that's not a feeling. The feeling instead would be something like, I am unheard, I feel alone, I feel invisible. Those are more of the feeling emotion words. A lack of being able to express emotions. One of the biggest barriers I found in my own life and in others is emotions can often feel immature. Emotions can feel childish. So when we're feeling emotions, it can be easy to push ourselves into reasonableness, fairness, logic. Well, lots of other people would see it this way, therefore, and there's very little emotional connection to it. It's just very reasonable. The benefit of that is it helps us to feel like we are more mature. And in feeling more mature, we feel less vulnerable. We feel less small. So in childhoods, where either our emotions were made fun of, or either because we're a man, or maybe just because we were young, or if our emotions were ignored, or if our emotions were even shut down. Any of those combinations can teach us, okay, if my emotions aren't good enough by themselves, then I need to borrow credibility from other things. Well, other people said that, or, well, I'm injured, so I have a right to feel this way. We have to borrow from outside sources to express our emotions. The most common examples of this is the one-word answers to emotions. Oh, how you feeling? I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. Everything's fine. We use very productive, very practical language, and we want to express competence. We want to express maturity. And emotions don't sound very mature. I'm hurt. I'm sad. And we label it with that kind of immaturity to it. So because of that, we leave it out entirely. Only practical. Let's talk about what matters. Let's talk about money. Let's talk about work. Let's talk about, okay, now that you've expressed those emotions, what do we do about it? And that's where you get guys that enter the fix-it mode. And we all know how well that works in intimate relationships, and try it with your kids too. Fix-it mode is not great. So similar to sign number 3, sign number 2 of the struggle to express your emotions, it's a protective mechanism to protect us from being belittled or thought less of or shut down, and the feeling of being invalidated, because emotions are vulnerable enough as it is. It's designed to get us support as we need it. But if consistently we didn't get that support, it is way, way easier and feels better to not take that risk. And instead, we either handle it ourselves or we pretend that we are okay and we suppress it. As you can imagine, suppressing emotions pressurizes it to make it pop up later. That's why a lot of guys who have anger issues actually don't have anger issues. They have a problem suppressing anger. And when they suppress it, it blows up or pops up later. Anger is actually a phenomenal emotion. And I should say all emotions are. But anger is one of those that protects our sense of identity. And a lot of us guys need more anger. We just got to express it in a way that is effective. So if you struggle to show your emotions, you may have been shut down or neglected in childhood when it comes to those emotions. So emotional safety is going to be huge. And the number one sign that your childhood is still impacting your adult life is when you're sabotaging your closest relationships. Now, typically your romantic relationships. If you find yourself sabotaging relationships, that's going to look like things going fantastic in the beginning. In fact, in the beginning of a relationship, it feels like it's the answer to most of your problems. It's the validation that all of these other experiences were horrible and this is what you've deserved all along. But over time, there's a shift. There's a shift to where at some point there is permission within yourself to pull away, either because of the other person doing something or feeling a lack of something within yourself that then signals, no, maybe this isn't the right fit. Maybe we're not compatible. Maybe this just isn't what I was looking for. Or, the chemistry is just not there. The spark is not there. And if you watch any reality show, you will see this come up so often with men in particular. Now, it's a little different for everyone based on childhood, but there is going to be this level of closeness that usually will trigger this. Sometimes it could be right away within the first few days. Other times it could take a year and a half. But there's going to be a level of closeness where that uncertainty starts to. Now, with one type of guy, it's either because we put on a mask in order to get the person in the beginning, and so over time, we're afraid that that mask is going to slip. They're going to see the real us and not love us anymore. So instead of facing that rejection, we go ahead and we sabotage the relationship to get out fast. Or that's why we either cheat or have an addiction or something, because we feel like we need to keep the mask. And then when they find out something about the real us and we hit any kind of rejection, we feel like that's a confirmation they're not going to love us. We need to get out of here super quick. So we'll sabotage. The other kind I see is more of the hunters. Those are the guys that are searching for an internal feeling. It's usually a sense of acceptance, good enough, safety, and they will search from person to person to person looking for someone else to make the internal feeling of good enough suddenly spark and be there. And at first, it will feel like that. Usually when two people get together, there is that honeymoon phase of, oh, you're amazing, I can't believe this, I can't believe that. It's actually two people's traumas that are speaking to each other and trying to create something, when in reality, it's they feel a lacking in themselves. So that constant hunt and search, and a lot of guys realize this, and I think you've probably heard this phrase, after a while of all these relationships, I realized I'm the common denominator. The one person who was consistent in all of that and they all didn't work out was me. If any parent focuses too much on us, at first it feels fantastic. We feel like the golden child can do no wrong, and eventually it starts to feel like pressure. And when we feel pressure, what it is that there's a weight on all of our actions, that what we do, good or bad, seems to impact our parents way too much. And we don't feel free to make mistakes. We don't feel free to not succeed. It puts this pressure on it. And honestly, it makes us just want to run away from our parents. We end up running into that same habit as adults, that if we start to feel pressure, like we have to perform a certain amount, or there's no room and they're criticizing us for everything we do, we will have that same impact set up of, I need to get out of here. I'm not safe. I'm never going to feel good enough with this person. And so I need to find it somewhere else. Other times we may actually create a reason or a betrayal so that they'll break up with us, or sometimes even find ourselves hoping that they'll break up with us so that we can be free. Well, if you find that to be yourself, you might have childhood trauma involved. And a lot of times this is where childhood experiences where trust was difficult or relationships felt unstable. So this is with a highly attached mother, or they call it a parentified child, but a highly attached mother where she got most of her emotional needs met through you as her son, and the marriage was not great. At that, we find ourselves overly protective of the mom at first, until we're a teenager and we kind of start to feel like our identity is stifled. Now, as promised, the bonus tips of telling you how I got through these signs once I recognized them in myself. First and foremost, I needed curiosity about myself. So many of the things that I did to sabotage relationships, not express emotions, they gave me a bad reputation and made me look bad in my relationships, as if I was the perpetrator. But the truth is, they were just outdated defense mechanisms. So I needed to become more curious and less judgmental of myself. I kept on forcing myself to try to eliminate these bad patterns instead of being curious about them. So curiosity came first. Second, I needed to get outside help. I'm a trained therapist. I have tons of blind spots. I cannot detect nearly as many of these problems as I would have liked to. I'm pretty sure the reason I became a therapist is because I wanted to fix myself. Spoiler alert, I was not able to do that. I had to seek outside help. So after I got curiosity, which was insanely helpful and necessary as groundwork, I then moved into getting outside help, which is find a therapist. If you're looking for a therapist, you're in the state of Texas, look us up, thecouchpsychology.com, and we'll find a therapist that fits for you if you're in the state of Texas. Otherwise, still reach out. We can help support you in your state, help you find some modalities that might help you. The third thing I will skip ahead to is within childhood trauma, 2 modalities made the biggest difference for me when I was searching for a therapist, and one program did. First of all, EMDR. EMDR stands for Eye Movement Desensitization and Reprocessing. I am trained in it. My wife is certified in it because it helped us so much explore childhood experiences in a really meaningful and very non-traumatic way to go through it. And we felt the shift. Beyond just knowing about our childhood, we could feel different about it. And that was an important difference. It wasn't just talk therapy. The other modality that helped us was IFS, Internal Family Systems. I recommend you look those both up. And if you're going to go into childhood, find an attachment-based therapist. Attachment theory is usually for those of us therapists who are highly believing that childhood is involved with our current life. So find an attachment therapist that does either EMDR and IFS. I'm pretty sure you'll be in good hands. Or reach out if you need any specific support. Lastly, I got a ton of work that I needed done when I went into 12-step programs. I personally come from a history of porn addiction, and the 12 Steps has a phenomenal program that is free to access. It comes with a mentorship program preset in the entire program. So I recommend you look up either SA, NA, AA, whatever program might fit for what you're going through. It's a phenomenal way to find support. I hope you found this content helpful. Trust me, if you notice any of these signs in your life, you are not alone. They are common to men, but I promise you, there are solutions. So if more of these topics interest you, be sure to check out zenformen.coach, or you can visit our therapy site, which is thecouchpsychology.com. Please leave a comment for more content you would like to see on our channel, and we will see you next time.